Hello and good day. I'm Joy Holt and I'm here in Ferdinand today with Town Manager Chris James. And this is Monday with the Mayor. Hello, Chris.
Hello, Joy. How are we doing?
Very good. How about yourself?
Oh, not too bad for a Monday, I suppose.
Yes. Well, I'm glad you met with us. Thank you.
Sure. Glad to do it.
All right. So let's get started. We want to talk today about the Du Bois County Leadership
Academy.
Yes, Academy. Yes. Tell us a little bit about that.
This is the 7th year for the Academy. It got its start more than a decade ago. The works of it began with when Ferdinand was taking part in the Hometown Competitiveness campaign. That was one of the pillars, was to try to determine leadership, the next generation, if you will, of future leaders, not just in Ferdinand. At the time it was Ferdinand specific, but it's expanded out to the county. And this is a chance for businesses, whether it's a manufacturing facility, banking entity, just a business in general, if they have a person, whether that individual has manager as part of their title or they're just the sort of the go-to person at the facility before they go to one of the boss types. They'll go to Joy, I got this problem, what do I do? And management sees that and they think you would be a good candidate for this. It helps with team building and teamwork because we take the individuals. We have our initial opening session. Tanya Brothers Bridge is our team coach, and she's our moderator for that first session. And after that session, she goes through the roster of the participants, and she determines who the teams are. 2, 3, however many participants we already divided up, and those are our teams. And so you'll have somebody in the banking industry, and you'll have an employee from one of the municipalities, and someone in broadcasting, or someone in banking. And so you're bringing in people who maybe don't normally walk the same steps in the normal day-to-day process, and now all of a sudden you're like this little micro family. And the big project, it's called a Capstone Project. So you're working over the course of April through August. We have a variety of sessions. We do just sort of the introduction to leadership, and then we break it down into different categories. You have government, we have philanthropic type of activities, government-based. We also have just communications in terms of speaking in front of a group, just like back in high school when you had your speech class, give your presentation,
Right.
that type. And then also we bring in individuals from the media, and they kind of explain why they do what they do, how they do it. And with today, with technology ever evolving and social media is so much out there now, more than the more traditional forms of media, how do they work with that and adapt and change to that? We work on all of that. We have government. This year, actually, we're going to have the class take part. They're going to be in the gallery. I believe it's for a Jasper Board of Works and Safety meeting, so they can actually see government, or at least a segment of government in action. And then we'll go to the Pfaffenweiler room downstairs, and then we bring in different elected officials, whether it's a township trustee, a county individual. We've had state representatives, state senators in the past, and get a very good view of what makes government work on each level and the layers that go into it, and kind of peel back the onion a little bit and see what goes into it.
So how does this benefit the community by these people coming together from all the different walks of the area?
The benefit hopefully is twofold. Part of it just through their normal jobs as they develop these skills. It will help them become better workers, and they can maybe translate that into their own personal lives as well. But then the other phase of it is through the Capstone Project. It's our big idea, and it's something that it's put together, that it's a doable project in the time period of the Academy. So when graduation hits in August of this year, the project is either complete or on the verge of being completed. And depending on the project, you may be waiting for final permission from a government body, whether it's the city of Jasper to give the final go-ahead with a project, or the county's involvement, or whatever the project is. Some things it's a timing issue if you're going to put together a specific event. If you can get it scheduled before graduation, so much the better, but otherwise they can say, well, on October 19th is our event, and then we're complete. So, I mean, there's flexibility built in. We've had a lot of great projects over the years. Some of them deal, the emergency call boxes along the Jasper River Walk. That came out, I believe, about 4 or 5 years ago. And that is one, it's a great idea, but it's also one where it kind of drove home the point of working through the proper steps first. You can't, I mean, it's great to want to do it, but there are steps to follow. Even if you have all the pieces in place, you still have to get the sign off from, in this case, the city of Jasper. Also the technology company to hook it in. They kind of put the cart before the horse a little bit. No one was opposed to the idea, but they presented it, and then after the fact it was, oh, by the way, can we, or how about this?
Sure.
And it took a little bit longer for that project to be implemented because they kind of did everything backwards.
Right.
So we've kind of stressed that a little bit more in the opening session. Whatever your idea is, make sure you get the proper authorities to check off on it first, and then you can proceed from there. And Tanya is great in that opening session. One part of it, she'll just poll the class and say, okay, what are some things that you would like to see? And sometimes she has her own ideas, and she can throw that out. That'll prompt you to say, oh, what about this?
Right.
And then once the teams are put together, Tanya contacts me and says, here's team A, here's team B. And then I contact the members and say, okay, here's your new team.
So how many students will you look for this year?
Ideally, a dozen is what we had last year, and we changed the parameter a little bit. In previous years, it would have been 3 teams of 4. Last year, based on some of the Capstone Project ideas, Tanya broke it into 2 groups of 6.
Oh,
And it worked out very well, and all of the participants are involved with the project. And some of them, they on purpose will do it that if you have a strong point with that project, then you do that. Other groups kind of flip it around. If you're strong in this, but not so good here, Joy, you're going to do this, but you're not so strong at, and try to build that into a strength. And it allows everybody to kind of rotate around on what their strengths are and develop more so. And then at the actual graduation ceremony, each team gets up and does their presentation. Here's our project from A to Z, and everybody has to speak as part of the participation. Everyone breaks down, okay, I took care of this part of it, and I handled this, and they handled this. And then each person steps to the forefront, and they have their part of the project and say, I did this.
So, so it's a combination of kids pairing with local business leaders?
No, this is adults.
Oh, these are adults.
These
That's
are
what
adults.
I thought you said, but I was like, is it students? No. Okay, so is there ever any friendly competition going on?
I'm sure there have been in the past from team members if they are possibly two participants from the same business, but one's on one team, one's on the other. I'm sure there's been some behind the scenes, hey, we're doing better than you type of deal, but it's never been anything where it's gotten out of hand.
Right, and it just benefits the community too, yeah.
But we're very much looking forward to the first session is scheduled, I believe it's Friday, April 7th, or yes, April 7th, the first Friday of April. And then we meet again in April, and then the way the calendar falls, once in May, June, July, and then the graduation in August.
Okay.
And that'll be at the C10 building on the VUJ campus. They've been great partners from the beginning. Dr. Johnson, when he was dean, Chris Gray, when he was on campus, he stepped in, actually took Dr. Johnson's seat on the board. He's now gone, so we're working with Dean Ackerman, and then also Allie Temple, who is a past participant in the academy and is currently on the board. So we've been trying to bring in new members who've actually gone through the academy. I went through it my first year mainly because I'm in charge of it. So I wanted to participate and see what am I
Sure.
what am I in charge of. So I can kind of see both sides of it. And we've had Mayor Spinner, Mayor Seitz, our town board president Ken Seacard. They've been board members from day one. And this is a way by bringing in our newest board members, Amanda Smith, Allie Temple, and Jill Cravener, all have participated in the past. Younger, different ideas set, and so we're trying to bring them more to the forefront, and the wiser gentleman can ease back a little bit, still be a part of it, but let the younger participants bring out
Sure.
fresh ideas or maybe look at something in a different way than we would and proceed from there. Also, Adrian Engelberth is on our board. He's actually our president this year. So, and everybody on the board, we had a sit-down session a couple of weeks ago, went through the schedule of things, fine-tuned the different talking point topics just to make sure, are we hitting what we need to hit? We're tweaking it a little bit more and looking forward to some of that as we get into the classes. But each board member basically takes on a segment. Okay, the communications, this member's going to work on. The government, this person's going to work on. So it's not all on just one or two board members to put it all together. Even the board has buy-in on all the different segments. And as we proceed forward with Denny and Terry and Ken, they may kind of set up some of the basic structures, but then Allie and Amanda and Jill, they come in and they kind of assist and maybe take on a little of the heavy lifting, so they have an idea of how to put the program together, and then we can eventually transition it to where they're leading onto it, and then they can kind of bounce ideas off of the other board members. Does this sound good, or what do you think, or how did you do this? And kind of tap those resources. So we're trying to keep things fresh, keep those guiding hands involved, but bring in the new ideas and from folks who have been through it, because they can go through a particular segment and say, you know, when we did it, this didn't do anything for me. Can we maybe try this to freshen it up? Or this worked great, I loved it, we need to do more like this. So it's constantly evolving, which is great. And it benefits the workplaces because their employees that participate, they're strengthening all of their skills so that they can be better co-workers, manager types, and it also helps them out as they move up that corporate ladder. They know a little better how to deal one-on-one with the different executive levels and step themselves up, and it benefits them just from their own internal promotion possibilities.
Sure, that sounds great. I really enjoy this. That is so wonderful. So I was going to ask, so from the Capstone Project, what is the last one that they did that has benefited the community?
The projects from last year, we had two teams. One of them on the VUJ campus, and a lot of folks, I don't know how they realize this, there are a lot of trails on and around the VU campus. Part of them, I think Jasper's cross-country team uses as part of their running route. There was a segment of the woods that had either been designated for or had maybe been in the past part of a trail, but had never been completed. And so one of the teams actually had somebody who was a VUJ staff member at the time, that they took that on as their project. So they completed, I think it was about a quarter-mile segment of trail. Went in and did a lot of heavy lifting in terms of clearing the space and getting donation from different groups for materials, either the equipment to help kind of clear the path better, donation of railroad ties to kind of shore up the path for washouts and rock and different things like that. That is about as complete as it can be. I think they have one segment kind of to go. Part of that project was to tie in with a sort of a footbridge on the campus that was an Eagle Scout project. But that has not been done yet. I don't know if it just didn't happen for that scout or if it's just a matter of getting done. But that's one project. The other team last year, and this will be something popping up at various parks yet this spring and summer, is sort of customized bicycle racks. So you go to the different Jasper parks and you have a fancy block letter J. In Ferdinand, you have a script F.
Okay.
Holland, eventually into Huntingburg, you'll have a fancy H. If Du Bois Park decides they want one, they'll create a D shape. And so that's a way of kind of beautifying the community, something that they don't have, and putting that into place. I know a few years ago in the city of Huntingburg, they had a bicycle sharing program that was that came out of the project. So, and some of the different signage you see, the markers that point directions, you know, museum this way or historic site that way, that came out. That was an offshoot of one of the early academy sessions. The kiosks that you see at different places, that came about of the Leadership Academy. So there's been a lot of great ideas. Looking very forward to seeing what comes out of this year's group. You never know who that one person is that may have a great idea,
Sure.
and it really takes off and blossoms from there. So we're really looking forward to it. We're still taking the applications. The deadline is March 29th.
Okay.
If they want to, if they've got questions about it for themselves or through a workplace, I can be reached cjames@ferdinandindiana.org.
Okay.
Just email me and say, hey, what about the academy? Let me know about it. I can fire off some information, let them study it, and see if that's something that they are interested in, or if they know, if they're like a Bill Potter person, they can say, Joy, that'd be good for you, or they could pick someone else out.
Don't give them any ideas.
No,
what are you doing?
It's just between you and me. But it's just a way that they can kind of look and see that person, I see better things for them, and this is a way for them to strengthen some skills. We had one individual, he was a municipal employee, and he actually kind of volunteered to go through it because he was looking to take a step up within the city,
Okay.
but didn't feel comfortable at that time to do so. He wanted to go through this course. He did, and now he's at a supervisor's position. So the plan fell into place for him, and you never know how it'll work out for each person within their workplace. But we're willing to give them the summer to see what they can come up with and strengthen their skills and move forward.
A strong community building block. That's great.
We try.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Joy.
I appreciate it.
Anytime.
This has been Monday with the Mayor with Chris James here in Ferdinand. I'm Joy Holt.